This is a film study video that will first and foremost focus on Riq Woolen's first interception of the 2025 season. Of course, it occurred last week in the defense's dominating performance over the Minnesota Vikings, a 26-0 win. This one will occur in the fourth quarter. To a lesser extent, however, I'm going to focus on some film from Week 11 against the Rams and then Week 12 down in Tennessee. I think Riq Woolen's been playing at a pretty high level in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I do believe he gave up a touchdown pass to Davante Adams in the end zone, a short touchdown pass, but who hasn't at this point in 2025? Nonetheless, I think he's transitioned well from the boundary side corner position to the field, occasionally playing in the slot. We're going to give you 5 plays here that I think kind of illustrate the quality of coverage that you're getting from Riq Woolen on a snap-by-snap basis. First, this is the interception here from last week's win against the Vikings. He'll be spot shadowed in yellow at the beginning of pretty much every play. I always try to put this blue line in to illustrate where the field and boundary is. So the reason why I like to do that, at least for this video, is the boundary is down here where generally Josh Jobe is located as the boundary side corner. And in this case, Woolen has been moved to the field. That's happened because of the emergence of Jobe over the course of 2025. In some cases, because of injury, the boundary side corner actually happens to be Devin Witherspoon. In this case, it's 4 verticals that is usually used to attack cover 3. The interesting part here to me is that to the top side, Woolen is absolutely playing a cover 3 technique. So off coverage, zone turn meaning his back and his butt are pointed towards the sideline, the top side of our screen, but his eyes, his chest, and his face mask are looking in towards the interior routes and the quarterback. In this case, the route that's going to be the target is a seam up the left seam from Jordan Addison. But by comparison, you've got a man turn down here at the bottom by the boundary side corner, whereas to the top, like I said, Riq Woolen is taking a zone turn. This cover 3 flavor up top, kind of man-ish on the bottom side of our screen. It's a great play, no matter who the quarterback is, no matter the quality of his reads or his arm strength. It's a great read, very reminiscent, in my opinion, of a number of plays that Woolen made in his rookie season of 2022 when he had 6 interceptions. Basically, eyes on the quarterback, eyes in towards the route, and ability to react. I think the quarterback is throwing it on a lower trajectory such that, the free safety can't get over here and make a play at all. The ball would have arrived before the free safety, in this case Kobe Bryant, could have, but he didn't plan on Riq Woolen's range. Some would say anticipation. I just think this is awareness and read or recognition of the play and where the ball's going. He's definitely trying to take this one to the house. Like, he can say, and I think he actually did say he wanted to try to show off his receiver skills. He is booking it here to try to get downfield as fast as possible. I think he's trying to take it to the house, to the far sideline down here. It gets cut off by these 2 offensive players for the Vikings. I think McDonald's statement was pretty accurate. He actually had a couple of good quips this week that I was able to see, and that was, it was a great play until he caught it. Because unfortunately, you get the forced fumble that hands the ball back to the Vikings. But it was a fantastic play. If you ask me, like I said, I think he's performing at a really high level lately. Sharp, versatile, in position to make plays on the ball or even deny the quarterback any throwing lane. The one significant difference for me is kind of technical. I think he's trying to be less aggressive off the snap, and basically instead of trying to win the rep in the first second to second and a half post-snap, he's just trying not to lose it. This play will be a perfect illustration of what I'm talking about, just trying not to lose the rep in the first 1 to 1.5 seconds. So Seattle generally wants to rush 4 and cover with 7. Well, when you've got Witherspoon, Jobe, and then Woolen, all 3 playing at a high level and healthy now at this point, you can do that. You can put your defense in position to be multiple, number 1, but when you choose to, line up in a 1 high safety structure and just go ahead and play man. In this case, it's a slot fade on the first possession. Like I said, it's a 3rd and 2 for Tennessee, and it's a slot fade. And notice how Woolen is not trying to jab or stab initially off the snap. He's just allowing the receiver to declare and then running with him. I don't know this, and I don't have the data or metrics, or certainly don't have 200 coverage snaps to support this. To me, it seems like he's more fluid in this style. basically using his speed, his long speed, his length to stay connected to the receiver. He looks more fluid, if you ask me, as opposed to trying to be a little bit more aggressive post-snap and getting his hands on the receiver. Cam Ward actually throwing a really good ball here, if you ask me, giving the receiver an opportunity. Woolen is there to get his hand out and basically create a very small margin for error, one the free safety can't help with at all, right, by moving over there because he started out in the middle of the field. He's not able to get there at all. Cam Ward and the Titans, like a lot of teams, when they see man in third down situations, they're willing to take the one-on-one. With Woolen in the slot, because of his range, his athletic ability, and the ball skills that he's demonstrated over the course of his career, it can actually act like a deterrent. I remember doing a video when Job started to emerge early in 2025 and actually kind of talking about this dynamic. Basically, I speculated that maybe it'd be a good switch for Woolen, and maybe he would live up to the task of playing to the field. In my opinion, the technical improvement that I've seen that I can identify the most, I'm sure other more advanced coaches and analysts than me can give you a more in-depth look at it, is that he's trying not to lose the route in the first couple of seconds and just allow his athleticism to keep up with the guys. This is a great setup, man, when you've got Job into the boundary, Witherspoon perhaps at the nickel slot corner, if you will, and then Woolen on the outside. They've kind of inverted that here. Free safety is in no position to help you at all. So this is where playing the boundary side corner for 2 or 3 years actually helps him. He's not panicking as much lately. He did have, I think, 2 or maybe 3 pass interference calls in one game earlier this year. Maybe I'm actually thinking of Job against the Cardinals, but I could be wrong. I think Woolen has proven to be more versatile than many people, perhaps myself, even myself included, thought that he could be playing to the field, sometimes into the slot. Same drive, week 12 against the Texans, and it's a 2nd and goal. Now, he's not targeted here, okay? This one's going to be over the middle. It's a completion, kind of like a levels concept. We're talking about the shallow end by number 2, this deeper end by number 3. And then Woolen is going to be defending the outside guy. He's very under control. Again, not trying to lose the route lose the snap in the first couple of seconds. You can see he actually gets a quick punch here, but it's done from a balanced standpoint. He's not overreaching. You don't get nose over toes. So what I mean by that is tilting forward, where your upper body is more forward of your toes. He's upright, but in an athletic stance. Good knee bend. Doesn't seem to be playing as vertical in 2025 as we saw the last couple of years. Maybe the DB coaches have helped him fix some things. Maybe he's just recommitted to certain things. I'm not sure. But you got a nice little punch that's under control. He's less jittery or maybe less anxious as 2025 is going on. I'm talking about when he's in those press man looks. 2 more plays here to just give you an idea of what I think Woolen is offering on a play-by-play basis. He's matched up with Puka Nacua here. It's a 2nd and 11 in the third quarter. At this point, the Seahawks have gotten kind of pissed off oftentimes, meaning they've gone to a one-high structure and we're just playing man. This particular rep, probably because it's 2nd and long, 2nd and 11, to be precise, they've got a 2-high safety structure. So the out route, which I probably can't draw accurately because I only have so much screen to deal with here, is a good place to try to attack. There's space there. He just turns and runs with Nacua. Not intimidated, very smooth if you ask me. In addition, he seems to understand when Nacua might try to push off and make contact with him. It's almost like he retracts his hands for a moment and then brings them back onto Nacua. It's a great catch. It's a really nice throw by Matt Stafford from a clean pocket. Woolen is there to challenge it. I don't think that, he was burned all game by these guys at all. It was actually the week before or 2 weeks before where I felt like I started to notice the quality of his coverage had improved. He, like I said, I think he gave up a touchdown to Adams down in the red zone. First of all, I can't wait for the rematch between these two teams because it did seem like McDonald and Durday at a certain point decided, okay, we're going to go with the one high structure and play man, and we're just going to be better than you coverage-wise. You're not going to be able to execute all the way up and down the field. Finally, matched up with Adams. This is actually on the same possession in the third quarter back in Week 11. Ball on the right hash. So the boundary side corner is Josh Jobe, matched up down here with Puka Nacua. I don't think this one goes down as a PD for Woolen. He's got 9 PDs so far this year, along with, I think, 1 interception. Gave up some catches. The most notable, I guess, is the Week 1 loss to the 49ers. This is a one high structure, and they're playing a more aggressive version of man, kind of like I talked about. A little bit of pressure on Matt Stafford. He's got to kind of sidearm this because of DeMarcus Lawrence. And he's unable to get the ball to Adams, who's looking like he's asking for a pass interference penalty. Woolen is definitely getting hands on him. To me, this style, press man, but just turning and running, even though he faked a jab there with his left hand. He seems less jittery, less bothered when up in press, less anxious, more relaxed, in my opinion. They actually got to stop here in the third quarter, they being Seattle's defense, but unfortunately another interception from Darnold gave the Rams the football in great field position and helped them push the 14-12 lead to 21-12. I know usually I give longer film study videos, just less time this week in trying to get this one out. I've been enjoying trying to put Seahawks film out later in the evening, and you guys have sometimes consumed it, with great consistency. So thank you guys for that, first of all. I want to talk about his interception for a moment, the first of the year. I think he makes a nice play. I think it's understated or underrated maybe because the quarterback was, so limited, struggled with a lot. Almost everything that Mike McDonald and Aiden Durde threw at him. I get it. I still think it's a really nice place. Very reminiscent of his 6 interceptions in 2022. Well, some of them, I mean. The off coverage, eyes into the quarterback, what I would call as a zone turn, and adjusting to the ball in the air. You can call it anticipation if you want to, but for me, I'm going to credit him with great awareness and seeing the routes develop and then just making a play in the seam. We would call it divider technique, dividing the 2 verticals in cover 3. Did give up the late touchdown to the tight end in Week 1. Disappointing. Huge play. Changes a lot if that one doesn't occur. I think it's 4th down. Maybe it's 3rd. I think here recently he's adapted to play into the field. Jobe has taken over the boundary side corner role clearly. That involves a lot of man, physical, press, action. Pressed up on the wide receiver, number 1. Number 2, making contact. I wonder if Woolen isn't one of those rare corners who can do that, but he might be better suited playing to the field where there's less contact, more off-coverage opportunities, or if he's in press alignment, pre-snap, just turning and running with the receiver once he declares. That's a pretty high ceiling. Someone who's not a great tackler, I understand. But so he's not incredibly aggressive there. I'm not sure if I'm formulating my thoughts completely, so I'll just say it. If he continues to put this film out for the rest of 2025, you're talking about a significant price tag if the guy makes it to free agency. So I don't know what the Seahawks want to do. To me, he's playing some of the best football that we've seen out of Riq Woolen, except for like a 3 or 4 game stretch last year in 2024. I can't exactly remember when that was, but I think he gets 2 of his 3 interceptions over like a 3 or a 4 week period. I did a video on Jobe early in the season where I actually speculated that this move, basically switching Woolen to the field, could turn out better than perhaps we all thought at the time, myself included. So much discussion afterwards. He's going to get traded. Do we need him? Maybe they tried to trade him, but I don't think so. He's just too valuable. In a 17-game regular season, that's too long. First of all, it's too long anyway, but to jettison or get rid of guys with talent, here we are heading into Week 14. Woolen, to me, is doing a great job. I have no idea what his coverage metrics are or his grades, certainly from PFF, for better or worse. I watch the film, I give you the evaluation that I see, and I try to, present the film that supports what I'm saying, or vice versa. So there's some loss of accuracy there, right? And that I'm not presenting metrics that are easy to acquire to go out there. I kind of intentionally don't look those things up unless I want to. Basically, I'm saying I don't know what the targets to catches are in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I would bet it's exceptional. I would bet that it's something like, 8 catches, 9 catches on 16 targets in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I could be way off there, but I'm trying to just give you numbers to illustrate the overall point. He's playing really well, not targeted very often because he's in good coverage relationship. Quarterbacks aren't going to throw the ball if you're connected or stuck to the wide receiver. And then when they are throwing the ball to him, generally been pretty inefficient. I think he's engaged with this defense, connected with receivers, seems to be, in my opinion, in the right spot pretty much all the time. I think it's been a cool development to see him play this well. What that means for the price tag coming up, I don't know. The 2022 production is really what is going to skew things a little bit, more so than 2023 and 24, which certainly didn't live up to that standard. For me, what we're seeing right now would be superior to 23 and 24. If you had to rank the Riq Woolen season so far, 2022, 6 picks, great argument for being Defensive Player of the Year. That's number one. Top of the food chain performance, statistically and on the field for Riq Woolen. I think what we're getting now in 2025 would be the second best year that he's had. You're more than welcome to let me know what you think of that closing thought. In addition, give me some feedback on the film that I used to try to show the quality of his play so far in 2025, even though I omitted the touchdown in Week 1 against the tight end for the 49ers, and I believe a short goal line touchdown to Devontae Adams from Week 11. In any case, if you guys enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comments section, number one. Number two, if you think other Seahawks fans would like to hear my thoughts on Riq Woolen's play in 2025 and also observe the film that I used to illustrate and make those points, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out.